8:24 Times Radio Breakfast. Good morning. Being a football fan is all about the highs of your team winning, but it also comes with lows. Yesterday, Spurs were demolished 6-1 away to Newcastle after going 5-0 down with 21 minutes gone. So what was it like as a fan who made the long journey up to St James's Park for the defeat? Chris Cowlin is a Tottenham fan and a host of the Spurs Chat podcast. We can ask him. Morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Tell us what the journey was like. How long did it take you to get there?
Left at 6:30, got back at midnight. It's been a very, very long day, hence why my eyes look very, very tired this morning. But what a disaster. To be 5-0 down after 21 minutes is simply not good enough. All of the fans deserve a lot better than what we're getting. It's been a very indifferent season. We're meant to be going for a European spot, and the way that the players performed yesterday was just simply unbelievable, really. You know, to go 1-0 down after 61 seconds, and as I say, to then go 5-0 down after 21 minutes is unacceptable. And when you look at the league table, Manchester United and Newcastle are now above us. We've got Aston Villa, Brighton and Liverpool all behind us, and it's going to be very difficult now to even get a Europa League spot or indeed a Europa Conference League spot. But lots needs to change at the club right now.
What do you do then? Because presumably, does anyone walk out? Because if you travelled all that way and at 5-0 you're not winning that game, does anyone go? Did you see anyone leave their seats, or as you're the away fans, you just have to stick there till the bitter end?
Absolutely, that very long journey. People had travelled up the day before. People had travelled up like me on the day, and they left after 21 minutes after being 5-0 down. Of course, there was going to be no comeback from being 5-0 down at St James's Park, which was very, very loud. A great atmosphere up in Newcastle. The Newcastle fans are loving life in the Premier League this season under new ownership. But yeah, a lot of the fans left. It was very difficult to see. And it's very difficult actually this season to see so many Spurs fans falling out of love with the club, because we have problems on the pitch, we have problems off the pitch. Of course, our managing director, Fabio Paratici, left only last week. But what I would say is that if the board are not going to invest serious amounts of money on the pitch like they are doing off the pitch at our stadium, which we do have a fantastic stadium, one of the best venues in the world for football, concerts, NFL, etc., we now need to concentrate and put a lot of money onto the pitch, because we've got players there who have been there for years that simply aren't good enough for Tottenham Hotspur.
And you might lose your captain. The front page of the Times' sports section, which is the game, the football section, has a picture of Harry Kane with "Call my agent," because there's a question of whether he'll want to stick around unless Spurs get their fingers out.
Well, it must be very, very frustrating for Harry Kane. Of course, leading goal scorer for Tottenham Hotspur in our history, leading goal scorer for England, and I've absolutely no doubt that he will go on to be the leading goal scorer in the Premier League. He's not won a single trophy for Spurs or England. He must be very, very frustrated. He must look around the team sometimes and feel like, what on earth am I doing here? He goes into his final year of contract in the summer. It'll be interesting to see what happens with his future. But the club need to show ambition, as I said. And when club captain Hugo Lloris came out after the game yesterday and said there was no pride and no fight, that is simply not good enough.
No. Well, did you have any nice food on the way? Any nice bits? See some nice countryside? What? Any upside you could talk about?
Sadly, I don't think there were any positives from yesterday. And to be honest with you, I can't wait until this season is over. And you're talking to probably one of the most positive Tottenham fans. So think about what it's like for the others.
Yeah, exactly right. Chris, good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
That's Chris Cowlin there. Danny Fingerside, of course, now helps to run Chelsea.
Yes.
I mean, he's not had a brilliant time either. Although, as I do have to say that when you get the very rich clubs moaning about finishing fourth or fifth, there are certain fans of what might call smaller, more feeble clubs think
in the bottom three.
In the bottom three, they don't know how lucky they are, really.
Right, talking about Wrexham.